All right, joining me now is Michael Weiner, Wes Peters, also known as the Bad News Bears. I don't know what bad news they might bring tonight. A lot of times they were bad economic news, but bad news can be good news if you're protected. But I'll tell you this, gold shot up today. We're talking, well, it's been shooting up. We're now at almost $3,050 an ounce. $3,046 an ounce. Silver is headed toward $34, $33.60. So crazy, right? I don't know. I bet you Wes Peters were about to hear an I told you so. I don't know. What do you think? It wouldn't be a report from the Bad News Bears if we didn't hear an I told you so from Michael Weiner, right, Wes?
Right. Yeah. I'm on your side, Brandon. I'm
rest my case.
So go ahead. Go ahead, Michael. Gloat. Tell us how you predicted this 25 years ago.
25 years ago and 2.5 months ago, and I am predicting 3,800 year end.
Woo! Has that gone up? Wait a minute. Wes's eyes got big. Has that gone up 3,800 by year's end?
Went up $200. When the Fort Knox disclosure comes up, it'll be very dramatic. And it went up because of the European Union going digital in October and claiming that they're going to be able to cancel their money. Could you imagine a bank doing business with the European Union and they have the capacity to take all the money they sent them and cancel it? I'm not kidding. It's right in there. We've talked about it. And this administration is not buying into it.
Okay, I don't know what you mean by that. Can you flesh that out a little bit?
It's like you have a wallet. You went to Europe and they came back and you had a bunch of euros in your wallet, but you're not. You're going to have a digital wallet. And when you get home, all of a sudden you look in your wallet, there's nothing there because they canceled it.
So you're saying if you have a bank account in Europe, they're gonna take all your money and drain it?
They do it. That's what they're talking about. They want to have the right to invalidate whatever money you have. That's what's called total control.
Okay,
our administration is going for it.
Okay, wait a minute. Wouldn't that bring out the pitchforks and the torches, Wes?
Well, you would think so. They recently announced. I think you played the clip last week, Brandon, where they're rolling out a digital currency in October. You know, and once it's tokenized, your money's tokenized or digital, you have zero control. And I want to share a story right now that happened this week. A client went to wire $120,000, and the credit union refused to wire the money unless the client showed an invoice of what they were purchasing. Would not wire the money. And of course they're talking about all the fraud that's going on, which is true, and people need to be very careful. But these financial institutions are getting to the point where you will have zero privacy whatsoever. You don't actually own your money in the bank. They have total control, and they refuse to wire the money until she showed them an invoice.
Okay, was that someone trying to wire money to Swiss America to buy precious metals or put it in their IRA or something?
Correct. Yep, absolutely.
Do you want to name the bank or not?
It's a credit union, a local credit union.
Okay, a local credit union. Now, were they? Is she an older lady? Were they concerned she was being scammed?
Yeah.
And okay, so they were trying to look.
And that was their whole argument, that they were just trying to look out for her. And she put me on the phone with them, with the manager, and I said, "What if she doesn't want to show you the invoice? What if it's none of your business?" And he said, "Well, then we'll refuse to send the wire, just like we did." So it is happening. And people,
you know, I understand not seeing older people being taken advantage of and told, some scam and they fall for it. I understand that. But it does seem, though, if the woman has her faculties and she's saying, look, I'm buying precious metals. Okay, I know the company. I've done my homework. This is what I'm buying. I can't imagine a bank saying, show me what you're buying.
Yeah.
So now what? She got to show them, I'm putting it in my IRA. I'm buying X dollars of bullion. I'm buying X dollars of numismatic. Now they know her business.
Well, and I think it's going to get to a point where they're going to have a disclaimer for people to sign. If someone refuses, I'm not showing you, it's none of your business. They're probably going to have a disclaimer saying, well, then you're going to sign off that if this is fraud, we're not liable whatsoever. You're out the money that you wire. So they're cracking down. Go ahead, Mike.
No, we had a client many, many months ago, worldly client, who was wiring us money. She'd been our client for 16 years. 16 years. many purchases, and they were refusing to do the wire. They wanted all this information on what she was doing and everything else. And she said, I've been doing business with this company for 16 years, not 6 weeks. And they just drove her. It's like, who are they? They're the deep state. The banks are not your friends. Be very, very careful and aware of that. Create your own bank based on gold, not them. They will literally lock you out.
All right, let's talk about where this gold is going. I mean, what's driving it? I mean, obviously there's inflation. The Fed's decided this week they're not going to touch interest rates. They're going to stay the same, correct? So
Right.
inflation seems to have, what's that, Wes? Wait, I'm
It's
sorry.
the dollar and is
But back up,
beneficial for gold.
Logan had you muted. Back up.
well. What happened? So they held tight on rates yesterday, exactly. And Trump is throwing a fit. He wants them to lower rates. And when they do start lowering rates, which now there's talk of only twice this year, when they lower rates, that weakens the U.S. dollar, and that's going to be even more beneficial for gold and silver. And that's why there are people out there who are normally Wall Street stock and mutual fund cheerleaders talking about gold being $3,500 an ounce by the third quarter of this year. Michael's projecting a couple $100 higher by the end of the year, and he could be very, 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 very right on that. So,
Michael,
Wes is correct, and what he's saying, that major fact that you got to understand, the Federal Reserve and Trump are at odds. He doesn't like Jerome Powell. I don't like Jerome Powell. Literally, he breaks the law. They're not supposed to be political, yet he is. And reality is they're going to be knocking heads, which will benefit the gold market. But ultimately, the other factor is the guy running this Treasury Department, Basant, is a huge asset-based gold guy. He's made it clear. He wants it back in our economy. When this audit comes out, the federal government's going to base the floor price of their gold holdings on the spot price of gold. What does that make them? It makes them back in the gold business again because they have a vested interest in our pricing. So
and when is that going to happen, Michael?
We should have the result of that audit in the next 2 weeks. In the next 2 weeks. So people are trying to be bargain hunters. You better start shopping.
Are they going to take the cameras in when they go in there or not?
I think there'll be a drum roll. I think that Trump and Musk and Basant are going to be there. I think it's going to be quite interesting because it's going to alleviate a good part of our debt. We talked about this, Brandon. If they revalue gold at $3,000 an ounce instead of $4,250, they're going to get close to $1 trillion added to their balance sheet. That's big news. Big news.
and I don't want to just see video of gold bars on racks of shelves. I want to see the books also. I want to see, is any of that gold being held as collateral to China and other countries that we owe them money? You know, is it leveraged? So I want to see the books on that. And something else that's not being talked about, Brandon, and I sent you the article on it. We have $9.2 trillion of the national debt that needs to be refinanced by June. And the current average rate on that debt is 3.2%. And if they have to refinance that at, let's say, a 10-year rate right now, which is like 4.25%, we already pay more to just service the debt than we do for our national defense, Department of Defense. So if they're having to refinance $9.2 trillion at a much higher rate, and that's why Trump is throwing a fit to get the Fed to lower rates so he can refinance that debt at a lower rate. And I think Trump is willing to tank the economy for a while in order to get those lower rates. And again, when those rates go down, money's going to be fleeing other safe haven investments like CDs and money market accounts. And that money's going to be looking for other places to go. And that money's going to be flowing into gold and silver. So people, you have not missed the boat. There's a lot to unwind here. And this is a huge deal, having to refinance that debt at much higher rates than it's currently at.
And if the rates come down, obviously, then businesses can borrow money less expensively, expand their business, be more profitable. Homeowners can get into more, hopefully better, lower mortgages, keep their payments down. I mean, it would stimulate the economy if the interest rates came down. Of course, we've always been afraid of interest rates being too low because then that creates too much liquidity in the markets with cheap cash. What are your thoughts on that, Michael?
Well, we need lower interest rates to be done more naturally than symbiotically by the Federal Reserve. Trump wants it to happen by the utilization of retaliatory tariffs, by restructuring of business and growth, and small business is booming right now again. And he wants it to happen naturally, not symbiotically through the Federal Reserve calling the shots. And I think when all this does come about, it's going to be very positive, but it's going to be a battle over the next year or more to get it done. But you got to remember another factor that's going on here. This tax situation. He has got to get this tax situation under control. This Congress has got to get the laws passed regarding extending the Trump era tax credits. Because if that doesn't happen, we're going to have a change in 2026, and we're going to have major problems. So they've got these bills that need to be passed right now through the House and the Senate that need to be done. The biggest positive we have right now is the Democrats are as dumb as dirt. They are backing everything that we all hate, even other Democrats, from the transgenders to the military situation, to the situation with the Tesla burning of the cars. All this kind of stuff infuriates Americans. To what idiot judge wants to bring a bunch of criminal aliens back to our country? What in the world does that make sense in? I mean, I'm glad my dad's not here. He would just be going nuts. And he was a Democrat.
Huh.
He would be going insane.
Let's
literally.
listen to what Jerome Powell said this week.
Has made significant progress toward our goals over the past 2 years. Labor market conditions are solid, and inflation has moved closer to our 2% longer run goal, though it remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged. Uncertainty today is unusually elevated, and of course these projections are not a committee plan or a decision. Policy is not on a preset course. As the economy evolves, we will adjust our policy stance in a manner that best promotes our maximum employment and price stability goals. So growth looks like it's maybe moderating a bit, consumer spending moderating a bit, but still at a solid pace. Unemployment's 4.1%. Job creation most recently has been at a healthy level. Inflation has started to move up now, we think partly in response to tariffs, and there may be a delay in further progress over the course of this year.
Okay, so he's going to blame the inflation on the tariffs and President Trump. Does he not take any responsibility for the junk he did during the 4 years of Biden, Wes?
Oh yeah, cooking the books, bogus numbers, and they left Trump a foundation built on sand, and they want to pull the rug out from underneath Donald Trump so badly and crash the economy. We've got midterms here in 2 years, and they would love nothing. Look at the Democrats cheering for Tesla stock crashing. And they don't care if that happens to the economy, and they set Trump up to be the fall guy so they could try and win the midterms. And Powell, he's not a big Trump fan by any means. So I don't think he's going to do anything to help Trump. It's all political, unfortunately.
Yeah. Look at what Utah's doing. First in the nation, Utah legislature passes bill paving the way for state vendors to be paid in gold and silver. HB 306 authorizing the state treasurer to issue a competitive procurement for a precious metals-backed electronic payment platform, allowing state vendors to opt for payment in physical gold and silver. Are you telling me you're going to be able to pay your property taxes, Wes, in gold or silver?
Now I'm going to get rid of my worthless dollars. I'm going to pay them in their funny money, monopoly money, rather than physical metal.
That's what's so frustrating right now, is that people are sitting on the sidelines and not paying attention. This is a period of time where you have the ability, you're at the precipice. This isn't the end of the gold market. This is the beginning of it. And I believe at the end of Trump's term, we'll be looking $6,000, $7,000 gold. And understand that if you start building up your own nest egg of dealing, you can deal with it yourself. we can help you. But when we deal with people who are doing nothing more than sitting on their hands, sort of like the Democrats not clapping for anything logical at the speech that President Trump made, a State of the Union, it's the same thing right now. Why are you playing game? There's nothing wrong with stocks. I'm not a mutual fund guy. I've already made that perfectly clear. But when we are talking about the caboose at the end of the train, for goodness sakes, have one. And if you're sitting back right now and trying to think, well, I'm going to buy on the big dip in gold. You know, I told people when gold hit 1,000, it wouldn't go below it again. It's at 3,000. It's not going to go below it maybe once, and then it won't hold at all. So if you're a buyer, you better be looking to do something now. I keep on my desk in my office a note from this guy who told me when gold was $1,100 that when it goes below 1,100, he wants to buy. It's still sitting there, isn't it? Yep, still there. Well, I'm telling you all, you better start doing something soon, because if you don't, you'll pay us a lot more.
Look at this chart. Look at this, 1969 to 2023. I'll try to get a more updated chart here. Now we're in 2025 here in a second. But, I mean, there you go. I mean, that tells you a lot. Let me find, go back to those pretty faces there, and I'll find you yeah. Mm-hmm.
While you're looking for that, Brandon, I'll just go over the markets year to date as of today.
Mm-hmm.
Year to date, the Dow Jones is up 1.4%. The NASDAQ is down 8.1%. The S&P 500 is down 3.5%. There's a popular bond ETF, so bonds, which are up 3.2%. Gold, which is, we sell gold as a backup plan, an insurance policy. We don't sell gold telling people you're going to make a ton of money. Gold's up 16.2%. Silver's up 17.4%. And again, the traditional Wall Street cheerleaders that sell their stocks and mutual funds and tell people never to sell out and stay the course, it's going to come back. And, you know, we're going through turbulent times that your financial advisor has never lived through or seen. And it's going to be painful for a while. So
here's a chart taking us up to 2024, and it's still going up. So that's 1924 to 2024. That's the last 100 years.
Gold is no longer a commodity. It's a financial instrument. I said that 6 months ago. So did Wes. It is a finance, and you're hearing it in Utah, and that's just the beginning. Because when Arizona gets rid of this lovely lady that we have as a governor, watch and see what happens in Arizona. This is a mining state. Watch and see what goes on.
Wes?
And what's interesting, Brandon, if you put a chart up next to that gold chart showing the purchasing power of the U.S. dollar, it would be the complete opposite. Because it's not the fact that gold is going up that much. That's how much purchasing power the dollar has lost over time. So if you put those two charts next to each other, you would see a correlation between the two. That over time, as we all know, your dollar's buying you less and less every year. Heck, now it's buying you less and less every month. So
I want to bring that chart. Let me find one of those. Here we go.
I'd be very concerned if I was sitting on annuities, only because of the fact that the reason why Metropolitan Life went out of the annuity business was because they were concerned that 10 years down the line, if they'd actually be able to pay the money out that they assumed that they would be able to do based on projections. So, you know, the people who get buried in those, be very careful.
Here's a fun one. If I can get all the stupid commercials to quit coming up over it. This is a fun one. Why do they do that? So irritating. Boy, they really don't. They're not in. All right, this is 2021, so this is older. But in 1913, what $1 buys? In 1913, it's saying you could buy 30 Hershey bars.
I'll take them.
Which I guess in 2020 dollars, it would have cost you $26.14. You could have bought with $1 in 1929, 10 rolls of toilet paper for $1. You could buy for $1 in 1933, you could buy 10 bottles of beer. Let's go all the way down here. $1 in 2020 will buy you one cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And that was 2020. I mean, I know I'm going to try to find it up, but you asked for a chart on the purchasing power of the dollar. I mean, it's just gone right to the toilet.
Absolutely.
I mean, would anyone bother to pick up $1 if they saw it on the ground?
No. Oh, I would. Let me know where you're going to be.
I think I found another chart here. Let's see. Well,
and something else with the bonds while you're looking for that, Brandon.
Yeah.
With the bonds, if the Fed starts lowering rates, if Trump gets his way and the Fed starts lowering rates, we could be heading very quickly to another bond inversion where we're back to where you could get more money on a 2-year bond than you could a 10-year bond. So people that are in bonds right now need to be aware of that if we get back to the bond inversion, that's what's happened with the banks. These banks are locked into long-term investments paying a low return, and they have this, they had these unrealized losses on the books that they started selling out right before rates went down. These bonds started dumping those long-term investments at a loss to lock into these higher rates. And that's what's going to happen to the consumer also. The bond market is flashing a warning sign.
Wes is right. And one other thing, I got a good buddy who's a top bond company guy. And last time Trump was in office, the bond market crashed and burned. But he was happy because he loved Trump. And at the end of the day, he says, well, he talked to me the other day, just like Wes is saying, here we go again. If you're sitting on bonds, be very careful. But, the problem is nobody's going to tell you that until it happens. They're not proactive, they are reactive. They are trained to be reactive in financial services because if they do the opposite and warn you, they fear panic. But it's not panic, it's called commissions. That's all.
Nobody's really updated their little charts, but I'll go back to this one because it's kind of fun. They ruin it with all their stupid commercials that will get over top of it. So hopefully the audience can see it. 1913, creation of the Federal Reserve, purchasing power of $1. Today it takes, this was in 2021, it would take $26.14 to buy 30 Hershey bars. As I said a while ago, you can buy them for $1. And as you keep going down there, 2020 COVID pandemic, $1 buys you that cup of coffee. And I mean, it's just escalation of the Vietnam War. Again, talks about what you could get for $1. I mean, it's ridiculous. Our grandparents and our great-grandparents would be blown away. Absolutely. Right. I think my great-grandfather bought a house and 5 acres here in Tennessee in, I think it was 1918, and it was $800. A house and 5 acres in Tennessee, 1918, $800.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah, that's why
that house in 5 acres is still there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what it's worth today?
Well, most people
absolutely.
buy houses to make money now instead of buying. I bought a house to live in, not to make money. Most people buy them to make money and flip them, and now they get jammed. That's why the housing market is so screwed up, because it's become a financial investment versus a home.
Although I know some people have done pretty well in real estate. Donald Trump.
He's a natural lawn. Okay, I mean he's a builder.
Yeah,
I'm talking about a homeowner.
Yeah,
I mean when you and Melissa
I just want to clarify a homeowner versus. But then again, a lot of people have been in their home for 20 years have done pretty doggone well.
Well, that's true. But now that out here in Arizona, people have made money in 2 years, ridiculous amounts of money, and now they're not, and they're hurting.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's just,
well, that's different. That's different.
10 years ago, when you made your events, the annual event in Branson, hypothetically, how much would that event cost you right now?
Oh, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. What the buildings cost, the airfare, the hotels, the printing, the promotion, the postage, everything versus now, absolutely. Way more expensive now.
Right.
Exactly.
All right, let's see here. I guess that's it. Unless you guys have something else to add. You can get a free packet of information on precious metals, get your packet, 602-558-8585, 602-558-8585. Get your free packet of information from Michael Weiner and Wes Peters. They'll tell you and talk to you about precious metals like bullion, taking physical custody of gold, silver, bullion, or you want to do numismatic, 1933 and older, which comes with a premium on it, but you have the spot price, and then the premium price can also go up based on the fact that it's a rare coin. And as more people want the rare coins because they provide privacy under the law, they become scarce. Because they become scarce, the premium price goes up along with the spot price. So you can possibly see your portfolio increase with spot price and the premium price as it increases, as the market shrinks of people, being able to buy those rare coins. That's the numismatic. And then putting gold into your IRA. They can help you with all that. Yes, who was going to say something?
Yeah. One of the things,
I was going to say, Brandon, if this TV thing doesn't work out for you, we have a desk for you to sell gold and silver with us. So
we'll put
keep that in mind.
It'll be like in a sandwich, so you can bring Dolly.
Yeah.
We'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah. But
You're saying if I want to come and move to Phoenix and work and get a desk, Dolly's welcome at the office. You think Dean will allow me to bring Dolly every day?
It doesn't matter. We'll override him.
We'll override him. And I could sit there next to Wes and Michael and talk to people about precious metals all day.
That's right. Dolly can talk.
You think I'd do okay? You think I could make a living doing that, Wes?
I think so. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I want to point something out real quick that happened this week. And it's happened, happens more often than not, actually. So people text me for the information. They do their due diligence, their homework. They look at it. I'll shoot them a text a week later. Hey, it's Wes America, just following up. Want to make sure you received everything. Do you have any questions? And this lady said to me, she said, well, we haven't decided if we want to buy gold and silver yet. And my response to her was like, well, most people, when they reach out to us, they haven't decided that they're ready to buy. Let's have a conversation. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't obligate you in anything. We're not going to browbeat you. That's what we're here for, is to educate. We give you that information as like a foundation to do some homework, to maybe come up with some questions. But I can't tell you how many clients Michael and I have that never even bothered to review the information because they have this crazy thing called life going on. Whether you've reviewed the material or not, we're going to cover everything from A to Z. Why you should own gold and silver, how it's going to benefit you, how you'll actually use it, what's the difference between bars and coins, bullion, numismatic. We cover everything from A to Z. And as we're explaining it, it's going to answer a lot of questions that you had. And it's also probably going to create some questions you never even thought about. So I don't want people thinking that you have to make the decision after looking at that material, okay, we're ready to talk to these guys we want to buy. That's not how this works. Call us with your questions. If you don't know what questions to ask, when we're done talking and explaining things, you're going to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Or, well, what about this? So I just want to encourage everyone, don't think you need to call us once you've made up your mind that you're ready to buy. If you're on the fence, you have questions, concerns, let's talk about it. That's all I got. That's all I'm saying.
Closing for me very quickly. The difference, a lot of us are excited about Donald Trump. We all are. Thank God he is in office. However, Donald Trump is giving you the opportunity to organize and protect yourself. Joe Biden did not. He was taking that away. You now have the capability of reorganizing yourself. If you fail to do so, it is the biggest mistake you're making in your life right now. Pay attention. Don't not pay attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. That's the Bad News Bears, Wes Peters, Michael Weiner. And again, get your free packet, 602-558-8585. All right, there you go. All right, big show tonight. Lots in there, no doubt about it. Hey, if you appreciate all we're doing, spread the word, promote us, get your free packet of information or your free packet of business cards to pass out. Over 9,000 of these have now been sent out. Go to worldviewstore.com, get your free pack, send them out to friends or give them to family and friends as you run into them. Maybe a waiter or waitress or the lady that cuts your hair or whatever it might be. Just tell people about us with these free business cards you can pass out. You get a pack of 20. When you run out, we'll send you another pack of 20. You can order them at worldviewstore.com. Don't forget, we're coming to Milwaukee April 15th, 900 plus seats now already spoken for. It's free, but you must register. Worldviewstore.com, worldviewtube.com/events. I think we have a lower third for it. Worldviewtube.com/events. I'm waiting on the lower third. Is it going to be there? There it is. Worldviewtube.com/events. Register for April 15th. Absolutely free, but you have to register. All right, folks. I say it every night as we go off the air. We appreciate your support. Whether you go to worldviewtube.com/sponsors, check out all of our sponsors, the water purifiers, which take all those chemicals out of your water. You don't want to drink all that water. Go to worldviewtube.com. You don't want to drink all those chemicals in your water. Get all that out of there. I mean, some of this stuff causes cancer along with other stuff. I mean, I think we all know you don't want to drink pesticides, an arsenic, right? Fluoride, that lowers the IQ. You don't want your grandbabies drinking this. You want smart grandbabies, right? So give this to your kids as a gift. The under the sink counter is awesome. You can also one for the shower. I have one for the shower. This one right here on the far right bottom. And I have one for the kitchen sink, and this is the water Dolly drinks. It's what I drink, what we all drink, because none of us want to drink chemicals. None of us want cancer or any other health issues from drinking toxins. Now, do you? Of course not. Worldviewwater.net, or you also find it at worldviewtube.com/sponsors. Check out all the other sponsors there as well. Oh, you know what? We got a brand new one. Look at that. Bold flavor, exceptional quality, worldviewcoffee.shop. Get it right, folks. It's .shop. Worldviewcoffee.shop. We like this. Logan, you like the cream that comes with it too, right? What? It's a protein creamer. So Logan, I saw him today scooping something up, and I'm like, what is he doing? It's like 20 calories, he said in my ear. All right. It's creamer, and it's low in calories. He loves it. It's protein. So he was putting some of the protein creamer in his coffee today. This is great because it is not sprayed with pesticides. Because again, I don't have to tell you, it's not good to drink pesticide. Newsflash, Logan. Should we do the breaking news? Newsflash. It's not good to drink pesticide. I don't think that's breaking news. I think that's common sense. But if you drink coffee that's not organic, you are drinking one of the most sprayed crops in the world. So we're drinking now 1775 coffee, which you can get at worldviewtube.com/sponsors, worldviewtube.com/sponsors, or you can go to worldviewcoffee.shop. Either way, check it all out. And then, of course, you know, you can get the ivermectin, all of the moxicillin, all of the kits you need. Should there be a disruption? Should we go to World War III? Should there be a financial crisis? Should we have China, as Trump says, if China decides they don't want to send us pharmaceuticals anymore, we could be in a world of hurt. Worldviewhealthcare.com, worldviewhealthcare.com. Check out also their great plans like the Wellness Premier, free prescriptions, or the Wellness Elite, free prescriptions and free supplements. Woohoo! All right, worldviewhealthcare.com, worldviewhealthcare.com. And don't forget, of course, as I always say it, one of the greatest ways you can support us is simply go to worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. Roll the music. Let's call it a night. Worldviewfoundation.com. Is today the first day of spring? Oh, I think my wife says it is. My wife loves the warm weather. She said, you know what today is? I said, I don't know, Thursday, March 20th. The first day of spring, Brandon. She's so excited. She loves that warm weather, that Tennessee sunshine. The trees are blooming like crazy. Spring is definitely here. Happy spring. Thanks for watching. May God save America. Take care.